CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Wendy Gillette. Spain's health ministry says the first passengers have started disembarking from the MV Hondias in the Canary Islands. 3 people who were aboard the ship have died from the Hana virus, and 5 others are infected, according to health officials. The head of the World Health Organization says he understands why people are concerned.
We hear you. We understand.
The strain of the virus, only found in parts of South America, can spread from person to person, generating fears that it could cause an outbreak similar to COVID. But health experts say the risk to humans is low.
That's why I came here, to be on the side of the people, because saying things from far could be easy. But I had to come here because this is very, very important for the whole world and for the people of Tenerife as well.
The 140 passengers and crew will be under strict quarantine to prevent further spread. CBS's Ramy Inocencio.
Small boats and health workers will quickly ferry small groups of passengers to shore, everyone wearing masks and PPE. They'll then board buses and head straight to the airport.
17 Americans are among the more than 20 nationalities on board.
For those 17 American passengers, once they're at the airport, they'll board a charter plane from Nebraska. It'll then fly back to Nebraska, and everyone will be put into isolation at the National Quarantine Unit.
No one on board the ship is currently showing symptoms of the virus. The U.S. is awaiting an Iranian response to a possible peace deal to end the war between the two countries. CBS's Holly Williams spoke to Middle East expert Dr. Ha Hellier.
Do you think that the Iranians are slow-walking negotiations because they believe they have a strategic advantage?
It's really difficult to tell if they are purposely delaying or if they are simply reacting to the very erratic kind of engagement from Washington on the negotiations.
President Trump vowed to carry out more attacks on Iran if it doesn't agree to a peace deal quickly. But Iran said it does not pay attention to deadlines and is still reviewing the U.S. proposal.
President Trump now has at least 6 major construction projects underway or in the works in Washington.
President Trump took time this week to inspect his renovations on the National Mall, one of the many changes he's making around the Capitol in his second term.
Making progress, huh?
President Trump is overseeing a sweeping overhaul of some of Washington's most treasured landmarks. And this week, he shot back when asked why he'd focus on these projects.
You know why? Because I want to keep our country beautiful and safe.
CBS's Aaron Navarro. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here?
How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong?
I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code MULTIPLY to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code MULTIPLY to borrow up to $10,000. Use code MULTIPLY to borrow up to $10,000.
A Hall of Famer, 4-time WNBA champion, and 5-time Olympic gold medalist is poised to get another title. CBS's Heather Bosch.
Under a bill approved by the Connecticut legislature, basketball legend Sue Bird will share the state bird designation every March with the longtime title holder, the American Robin.
To Sue, first nail, boom!
As heard in WNBA highlights, Bird played for the Seattle Storm for 19 seasons. But before that, she led the University of Connecticut to 2 national titles and is beloved in the state. Bird says she's honored. Heather Bosch, CBS News, Seattle.
The Cannes Film Festival gets underway Tuesday in the French Riviera. This year's big red carpet events include a special screening of The Fast and the Furious to celebrate its 25th anniversary. The movie opened in theaters June 22nd, 2001. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-948-7878. That's 800-948-7878.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
This Mother's Day Sunday brings a mix of sun and clouds with showers favoring the early part of the day and a high of 64. Then just some clouds for tonight and a low of 40 lead to a cool day tomorrow with some sun at times. Bit of a breeze develops in the afternoon with a high of 60 before clouds build through the day on Tuesday, high 65. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is an editorial by KDKA Radio Regional Vice President Michael Spacciapoli.
This week, Cannon-McMillan School District announced it's reducing screen time in the classroom. Superintendent Dr. Greg Taranto tells KDKA Radio kindergarten through second grade will be Chromebook-free learning areas, pointing to new research that shows kids learn better with direct, face-to-face interaction with teachers. Dr. Taranto adds screen time is being reduced at all grade levels, and the school district is buying physical textbooks instead of digital versions. We applaud Canon Mac's decision to reduce screen time in the classroom. Kids are inundated with phones, tablets, and video games all day long, and research shows too much screen time can be detrimental to a child's development. Dr. Taranto says this isn't an elimination of its technical and computer classes, but more of what he calls a return to center, and not relying on screens for everything. We hope other local districts soon follow suit and shift their learning that best benefits the students and lets teachers teach.
This has been an editorial by KDKA Radio Regional Vice President Michael Spacciapoli. To view a transcript, go to kdkaradio.com.
Rob Fracks on the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
We have a lot to get to this Sunday morning, but we begin with some comments from Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday saying he believes the Ukrainian conflict is nearing its end after he oversaw a military parade on Red Square commemorating the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II, a show that didn't include heavy weapons for the first time in nearly 2 decades. I think the conflict is heading to an end, but it's still a serious matter, Putin told reporters, according to a French press organization. According to Putin, he also added he was ready to meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in a third country only once all conditions for potential peace were agreed upon and settled. This should be the final point, not the negotiations themselves, he said. I wouldn't trust this man as far as I could throw him. I truly believe, once again, he is playing the "oh, poor, pitiful me" card, trying to make the world believe that, yes, they really just want peace. He not only wants peace, but he wants a piece of Ukraine, and yes, that's what he will continue to fight for. And he wants a piece of other countries, too. If he is not stopped in his tracks in Ukraine, he will continue to do this until he has no breath left in his body. I believe the only way he stays in power is to continue to fight. Vladimir Putin, if there's any truth to it and there is any sense of reasoning or at least the thought process that he wants to stop the war, here is the reason behind it. It is simple. He can't get oil. He cannot get oil for his war machine because of what's happening with the Strait of Hormuz. And I said before, I really believe that the president is doing this one giant stall tactic. Why? Because he has one thing in mind. He wants to flush out Hamas, Hezbollah. He wants to take control of the oil for the Iranian people. He wants to remove the regime in Iran. And most importantly, he wants the ceasefire in the Middle East to hold steady. But in the process, he wants that war, the biggest conflict in Europe since the end of World War II, to end. and he is playing, if you will, his trump card. And I believe now more than ever, when all seems to be failing and the winds are swirling around us, wondering what will happen next and when will the next shoe drop, I believe that he will actually pull victory from the hands of defeat. And he will make this thing blanket across the globe, not just for financial security because of the price of oil and the spreading of the wealth will go globally to the global market, but he'll make that war in Ukraine come to a screeching halt. All right, lots of other things to get to. Those passengers, as I mentioned, have now been evacuated from that cruise ship. The world is waiting to see, will this be the next major infection a la COVID? You heard that report from CBS Radio, top of the hour. They're saying no need to worry. But what really concerns me is that we have continued to fight amongst ourselves in this country. We continue to fight globally around the world. And more importantly, we are letting things slip through our fingers when it comes to science and research and opportunities to build a better world. You know, we talk about brick and mortar and infrastructures in these deteriorating cities and places like Pittsburgh dealing with financial woes that affect us all and employment numbers that many people are still trying to put their finger on. If 115,000 jobs were created last month and they only expected 55,000, why is it, oh, woe is me? Because those jobs are minimum wage jobs, the majority of them, and we know as well as anyone in this country to be a strong part of what is known as the working class in America, you have to be sustaining at least a $100,000 paycheck. And when you look at what's happening in the world today, those checks are far and few between. That's one of the reasons why we continue to struggle in America. And through it all, the most amazing thing is how Wall Street continues to tick upright and continues to be strong. Some of the biggest and most important stocks, from the blue chip energy stocks to technology, continue to remain strong. A lot of people are wondering, how can that possibly be? It's because, plain and simple, the majority of people, the bulls and bears, the movers and shakers, the one that signs the big multi-billion-dollar paycheck for their corporation, quarter after quarter, year after year, decade after decade, they believe the end result with everything that is happening will soon be checkmate, and the United States will not only start fueling their economy, but they will start to take a giant chunk out of that multi-trillion-dollar debt. All is not lost. You just have to look for those opportunities to be able to embrace. And I don't know about you. Despite the price of gasoline now at about $6.13 in California, where they're sweating and getting ready to decide who will be the next governor to replace Gavin Newsom, I still see a lot of hope right here in western Pennsylvania. Thus why this gubernatorial race between Josh Shapiro, the incumbent, and Stacey Garrity is all about energy. Dave McCormick and his Energy Summit. Something that even John Fetterman, that moderate Democrat who may get primaried by his own party, believes in. So we in Pennsylvania have a chance to change the course of history in our country. Lead by example. I still believe there has never been a better time to start buying in on America and what's going on right here in western Pennsylvania. All right, couple of good things to start there. We'll give you a chance to phone in at 866-391-1020. And the other international story, of course, CBS News leading with that as well. The U.S. continues to wait on a peace deal from Iran. Don't hold your breath, because Iran, like Vladimir Putin, this regime knows the only way they stay in power is to continue to fight. And they're not fighting for the ability to make nuclear weapons, but they will eventually do that again if they stay in power. They're not fighting for the Iranian people. They're not fighting for their way of government. They're not fighting for their way of life. They're simply fighting to be able to hang on to the blood money that is the trillions that comes from the Straits of Hormuz and the oil that they have. And yes, when this thing opens again, meaning the Straits of Hormuz and all the stockpiled oil they have, they will fill up their bank account like never before. But they want to remain in power. That's their objective. So they continue to wreak havoc across the country that they call home and the world. All right, don't forget. Do you know someone in your community has done something extraordinary in the past year? Nominate them now at KDKRadio.com. to be honored at this year's Larry's Hometown Heroes event. And as always, you can listen to us at 100.1 FM, AM 1020 KDKA on that Odyssey app, AUDACY. But you can also watch us on our video stream presented by the good folks at Metropolitan Window Company. Just go to KDKRadio.com and click on Watch KDK Radio Livestream, or now you can just go to our KDK Radio YouTube page to watch everything we're doing in the studio. Number to dial, first hour is Open Talk, 866-391-1020, and NASCO Roofing Instant Access to our shows. A click away. Email us at instantAccess, KDKRadio.com.
When you need to talk, we're here for you. Always have been. News Radio KDKA.
News Radio KDKA Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve you a Pittsburgh tradition. Pirates pounded out 20 hits and they defeated San Francisco 13-3. 2 teams again today. Out on the West Coast, 4:05, you can hear it 93.7 The Fan. Bobby Cox, legendary manager of the Atlanta Braves, dies at the age of 84. He won 2,504 games as a manager with both the Braves and the Blue Jays. We'll pay tribute to him today on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. On the ice, Carolina in overtime, 3-2 the final. They eliminate Philly in 4 straight games. Colorado and Minnesota last night. Minnesota a 5-1 winner. Avalanche lead the series 2-1. To the hardwood, Cleveland defeated Detroit 116-109. Pistons lead the series 2-1. OKC has the Lakers on the verge of elimination. They were winners 131-108. They lead the best-of-7 set, 3-0. Riverhounds lost to Louisville, and through 2 rounds of the Truist Championship, Quail Hollow, North Carolina, Alex Fitzpatrick is at 14 under, good for a 1-shot lead. More sports, 937thefan.com.
Did you feel that drafty breeze from your windows this winter? Yikes, it was scary cold. But just as scary is that you now know that your windows will let in that hot, humid air all summer. Let PJ Fitzpatrick help reduce your utility bills with custom-made, double-insulated replacement windows. PJ provides peace of mind with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. Plus, PJ Fitzpatrick has a variety of financing packages that work with any budget. You can have it all. Visit TrustPJ.com today for your new windows. That's TrustPJ.com.
Why deal with crowded hotels and packed pools when you can have the whole place to yourself? At SWAC Vacation Rentals, some homes come with private lazy rivers, indoor pools, massive game rooms, and outdoor kitchens built for the whole crew. These aren't hotel rooms, they're private vacation playgrounds, managed by us, cared for by us, and ready when you arrive. And when you book direct, you keep more of your vacation budget where it belongs, with you. Find your unforgettable stay at SWAC. SWACK Vacations.com. That's SWACvacations.com.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at KennyRoss.com.
Julian Gray Associates has the most certified elder law attorneys of any law firm in the nation, right here in Pittsburgh. They also have experienced social workers so that you can prepare a plan to age with dignity that you can afford. Visit GrayElderLaw.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
The 50,000-watt voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
You know, I honestly think this virus that everybody's talking about, I just think that we are a weak society. We are a weak global planet to where people, their resistance, their health, how we have abused our bodies and have polluted our food. I think it's one of the reasons. There's a story in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette today about childhood obesity being at an all-time high. So why are we so unhealthy? And as I mentioned, we have lost sight about so many things in the world that our science and medical research is nowhere near what it needs to be. I mean, that's one of them, and we're overpopulating the world. I mean, it's just, we're going in the wrong direction. And I think in the end, when you think of what could happen to this planet, we could be the reason for its destruction. 866-391-1020. Here's Joanne Point Breeze to begin the broadcast. Good morning, Joanne.
Good morning, and happy Mother's Day to all of us women who, no matter what we do, we all can be potential mothers. You know, and you worry about that virus or because of the this Kennedy that's cutting all the means to protect the children and all of us. The other thing I wanted to say, we talk about all these killings and watch it and look. I haven't heard not one politician or anybody else in the political field talk about gun control. going after trying to get rid of some of these high-powered rifles and these rifles that are being, where these children, 13 and 14-year-olds, can get these guns. Not one politician. So think about that when you go out there and vote. As long as they're getting their pockets full and their money bags that can hang on their arms, they are just not doing the thing that needs to be done for the people that try to elect them in this country. Gun control should always be the first thing on our minds, and not these killings, because they'll continue to be killings. They'll be continued, but we need some kind of gun control. They're not even thinking about it. Not one of them has said this. So I hope every mother or the potential mothers have a good week, because I'm just sick of these politicians. When you go into those polls, you better think about this gun control. Thank you, Rolf. Have a good week.
All right, yeah. Happy Mom's Day. We were going to get to that in a little bit, but she beat me to it. So, yeah, when you think about moms everywhere, the responsibility that they have still today, the ability to be able to multitask, it's amazing. I mean, I know, we were talking earlier today before I hit the airwaves about our respective mothers and how special and what they've meant to us, but nobody works as hard for their children and families than moms. But today, in today's society, with all the outside noise, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. So we are all blessed to have had a mother, and whether they're here now or not, we will take them with us the rest of our time on this earth. I know I miss my mom every day, and I lost her. She was really young. It was a long, long time ago. I mean, we're looking at over 20 years since my mom has left this earth, so it's tough. Anyway, 866-391-1020, 866-391-1020. How many of you actually believe that the country is headed in the right direction? Because the thing that really worries me with all of the movement and everything that's happening, and even with Wall Street, the numbers that have been really good, and we're going to have Brian Caranta here tomorrow night, who's the host of Secure Money Advisors on the Money, because, it's kind of perplexing, because with all the things going on, and when you see stories as I did this morning when I first woke up and was getting ready for the show, I saw that story about, tracking U.S. gas prices, and the highest place right now is in California, where it's over $6 a gallon. And I just started to think to myself, well, if that's the case, how can Wall Street be so steady? And I've been thinking about this the last couple of days, and I thought, you know what, we're going to get Brian in here, so we'll bring him on the show tomorrow night and give him a chance to try to make sense of it. Honestly, it makes no sense to me, but I love it. But you got to believe that something has to do with what the administration's doing. I mean, you got to believe it. And there's so much negative belief that the government is doing the right thing, that why is it that Wall Street is doing so well, and the bulls and bears who are always skeptical of everything that goes on in government, because they're the people that really control the purse strings of this country. But the average citizen, Joe Q. Public, me and you, many people simply think our government is out of control and they've lost their way and never to return. And here's the really sad thing. Even when we were dealing with issues in the Gainey administration, and obviously things seem to be turning around in the O'Connor administration, but it's early, people still don't believe that the city is doing that well. They don't. They come up to me, I'll be out and about. I hear you talking about Pittsburgh and your love of Pittsburgh and how it's turning things around, this and that. No, have you been there lately? I don't go to Pittsburgh anymore. I just don't think it is what it used to be. I mean, as much as good news as we've been promoting, especially off the NFL draft, you still have people that don't buy in. You have disbelievers. And I hear people every day, whether they call me here or I'm out and about, they don't like President Trump. They think he's doing a bad job. They blame inflation on him. They blame the economy on him. They blame the fact that the utility bills that they are paying are going up. They talk about the price of groceries. They complain about the price of gasoline, when in reality, blue chip stocks, Exxon, BP, Mobil, none of them have any control when it comes to the price of a gallon of gasoline or a barrel of gasoline. It's because of what we have let Iran do for the longest time. And you have a president who's trying to interfere with that and break that chain of command. But people are like, get out of there. We don't need to be at war there. And there are so many of you that actually believe this is a holy war. You believe that the citizenship of Iran wants the U.S. out of there. And you know as well as I do, that is total, unequivocal nonsense. It's nonsense. They do not want us out of there. And I am fearful if we let this regime stay in and we get them to supposedly sign a document, oh, woe is me, we promise we'll never make a bomb again, with their fingers crossed behind their back because you know they're going to do it. They will start systematically weeding out anybody who did any collaborating with the so-called enemy, Uncle Sam. And those people will be either killed or imprisoned, and the key will be tossed away forever. And we will once again say, well, you know, we accomplished what we needed to accomplish. It's over. We wanted to make a point. Our point has been made. They're no longer going to make nuclear weapons, and we will leave those people in that country to fend for themselves. Shame on us if we let that happen. So, how many of you actually believe the government is working right now? And if I get no response, that's proving me right. That many of you think that our government is faltering to a point where we are failing as a nation. And that's exactly what I thought the response would be, and that's what worries me. You see, just as we no longer have a working class in this country, meaning a solid middle class, that there are millions out of the 333 million and some change making a livable paycheck to keep the economy afloat and stop us from going deeper in debt and maybe starting to rectify things in America, we have little of that, if nothing, and we have little of belief, if nothing at all, when it comes to what is going to happen in America in the next 10, 20, 25 years. And I'm going to tell you this right now, whether you want to hear it or not, if America doesn't turn things around in the next 25 years, so you've got 2050, 2050, and then 2075. If we don't turn things around between 2026 and like 25 years from now, we're done. And if we don't have this country turned around by the time we're 2050 and 2075 and beyond, we are done as a nation. Done. So we celebrate 250. If we don't straighten it out by the time we celebrate 275, we're done. We will never have a chance to turn things around in America. And if that's the case, there will be no America as we know it, as we should be celebrating our 300th birthday, but we will not, because there will be no semblance. There'll be another flag flying over our country, and it will be basically a ghost town. It'll be nothing but empty from one side of this country to the next. It will start to affect the suburbs and beyond, our school districts, our health care, our economy, our currency. Everything will falter. So you've got 25 years to figure it out. Celebrating 250. And by the time we get to that 300th birthday, we're gone. But if we're not even close by the 2075 year in this country, don't even think about what lies ahead, because it won't be anything but ugly. So now's the time to get it right, and the only way we get it right is to go back to the rules and the regulations of what made this country great the very first time. And it's the founding fathers and what they hoped this country to be: a democracy, a constitutional independence of that king and that United Kingdom. The only way we survive if we go back to the way it once was. That's the only way, because we have 25 years to fix it, or there will be no 300th birthday celebration in America. Your call's next.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
If you're in the Pittsburgh area and caring for a loved one with Medicaid, get paid starting today. Freedom Care has already helped over 162,000 families get the care they deserve, with 97% satisfaction and more than 8,000 five-star reviews. If you have Medicaid, you need to hear this. You may qualify to choose a caregiver you already trust, a family member or friend, and they can start getting paid. No agencies, no strangers, just someone you know, helping with meals, medication, bathing, mobility, and more. This service isn't for later, it's for right now. It's 100% free to you through Medicaid, and caregivers get paid right away after their shift. Find out if you qualify today. Call 412-801-7213. That's 412-801-7213. Don't wait. Call 412-801-7213 now. Again, 412-801-7213. Freedom Care. Get paid to care starting now.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
When you call yourself the voice of Pittsburgh, you have to know when to not talk. Sometimes you just need to be the ears of Pittsburgh. Just listen. Listen to what you have to say. These are complicated and uncertain times. But when you need us, we're here for you. And we're listening. A trusted source that you can count on to be here. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. The first passengers aboard the MV Hondias cruise ship have disembarked after an outbreak of hantavirus. The head of the World Health Organization is there in the Canary Islands.
I had to come here because this is very, very important for the whole world and for the people of Tenerife as well.
Over 20 nationalities are on board, including Americans. CBS's Ramian Osencio.
For those 17 American passengers, they'll board a charter plane from Nebraska. It'll then fly back to Nebraska, and everyone will be put into isolation at the National Quarantine Unit.
The U.S. awaits an Iranian response to a new peace deal.
President Trump vowed to carry out more attacks on Iran if it doesn't agree to a peace deal quickly. But Iran said it does not pay attention to deadlines and is still reviewing the U.S. proposal.
And that was correspondent Holly Williams reporting. CBS News Brief, I'm Wendy Gillette.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Pour at the Park is Saturday, May 16th at South Park Museum Building and Fairgrounds. It's a family-friendly event that supports the Allegheny County Parks Foundation and its mission to improve, conserve, and restore the 9 Allegheny County parks. General admission and VIP tickets available. VIP includes early entry and food samples. Details at pouratthepark.com. Pour at the Park. Drink local, support nature. Add a spark your guests won't forget. Bring the Fierce Mom Energy pop-up selfie station to your next event. Unlimited photos and dance videos, instant sharing, fun props, and custom photo keychains. Your guests will love it. Book now at fiercemomenergy.com. New to Rivers Casino? Join now and earn up to $1,000 free slot play. Stop by Rush Rewards on your next visit to start earning today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
Join Rob Pratt every Sunday at 11 a.m. for Black and Gold Sunday, presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer. Rob keeps you posted on Pittsburgh sports with 2 hours of exciting talk. That's Black and Gold Sunday, 11 to 1, presented each week by Coons Market.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
This Mother's Day brings a mix of sun and clouds with showers most likely early in the day on the way to a high of 64. But tonight looks dry with just a partly cloudy sky and a low of 40. Then some sun for tomorrow, but it stays cool with a high of 60. Then Tuesday brings increasing clouds and slightly less cool conditions, high 65. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back Monday. Yes, enjoy the weekend. I'll catch you Monday. 2 to 6. Can't wait to talk. Colin Dunlap, KDKA.
Oh, we got a loaded phone bank. Nick in Bloomfield, Teddy in Mount Washington, Cynthia, Florida, Rob in Plum. So let's head to Bloomfield. Say hi to Nick. Nick, you're on the air at KDK. Good morning. Hello,
Good morning,
Nick.
Rob.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Okay. Rob, you can see the question, but Pittsburgh
and how we feel about it. To me, all politics are local. We just had the draft. We closed our schools for 3 days. You know, the bench in a city is your school system. You got to have a strong bench. We consistently rank the low in all the categories: English, math. Yet we closed the schools for 3 days, and I haven't read one word about was that a good thing or a bad thing. And obviously, I think it's a bad thing because the statistics show that learning at home isn't the greatest thing, especially for city kids. We used to have great public schools. We produced great scholars out of the city of Pittsburgh. Where's the greatness coming from? To quote one of my favorite movies, Apollo 13, failure is not an option. But to me, it seems like we're breeding failure. The other thing I wanted to bring up was there's no consequences anymore in the city or in the country. You know, you have a tire fall off an airplane. No big deal. You have a door fall off an airplane 2 years ago. No big deal. You have a head-on collision with a plane and a fire truck. It's done. Now we have a plane landing and it hits telephone pole, a lamp post in a truck. No consequences. Nobody shouting out, hey, what's wrong with our air traffic? We never had that 30, 40 years ago. That's why people are saying they don't like the direction the country's going into. We accept failure when failure isn't an option. That's what I wanted to bring up, Robin. I love your show, especially on Saturday and Sunday mornings early.
Nick, thank you so much. Yeah, we just had that Frontiers airline hit somebody. I mean, it's we just keep having one thing go wrong after another. And as you mentioned, and I was talking about it yesterday, we're getting down to the last gasp of air in this country. That's why everybody's talking about 250. If we don't fix it in the next 25 years, forget about 300. By the time we get there, it'll be over, done, deal, finished. We have lost every layer. We've lost working class, middle class, brick and mortar. Our school systems are failing. Healthcare has become an issue. The economy is out of control. A recession is already here, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. And within the last 30 years, we go from a balanced budget in 96 to 38 trillion in debt. I mean, it makes no sense. And half of America doesn't even believe or wants to stand for our military, who are off fighting the greater good to save the Iranian people and hopefully figure a way to get our economy back on track by getting the power of the oil industry out of the hands of those horrible people that are running that country and have been since the Ayatollah Khomeini. So, Nick, you are spot on. Thank you for the call. Have a great rest of your day. Here's Ted up on Mount Washington. Teddy Ballgame. Good morning, sir. Welcome to KDKA.
What's going on, Rob?
Lots of stuff today, man. My mind is racing today. I came to work bright-eyed and bushy-tailed with a lot of stuff to discuss, and you folks are responding, so I've done my job, and now it's time for you to do what you do great and make sense of it all. So go right ahead.
Well, first of all, happy Mother's Day to everybody out there.
Absolutely.
But real quick, this is my take. Look, do not blame the people of the United States. Okay, that's just me. Look, government's out of control. I'll never forget this old politician in the '80s said the government lied so much and lied itself in the corner that no one trusts it anymore. Look, I mean, the average person thinks, like, how can you trust the government when everybody in there who works for it's a crook? Okay? I mean, that's just a perception of it. People today just don't trust it, regardless if it's a city, you name it, all the way up to the federal government. And people who work in it, you just perceive that either they're corrupt or incompetent or all three. They get rich, working for government. And it is. It's the country's already gone, Rob. You're $39 trillion in debt, not 38. We're breaking records. And I told you before, our debt is bigger than our economy. And I'll be honest, I'm surprised he didn't talk about one thing. I give Trump a lot of credit. He released all those UFO stuff, and it proves for one thing: The government said there's nothing out there. Meanwhile, they're releasing all this paperwork. I mean, the government lies to you all day, and I think it's pretty much over. Most democracies last about 200 years, and we've been blessed to last almost close to 250. But usually they peter out, man. You're starting to see it. I just hate to say it. The last thing we have is our military, and we're wearing them out. It gets to a point like Rome. You're in debt. The only thing you have left is your military. You wear that out, and pretty much you're in decline. The same thing happened to the British. Same thing happened to the old Soviet Union. And we're not going to be a superpower. We'll be a managing power, but we just can't dominate the world like we used to.
Let me ask you, do you believe at all what Putin said yesterday at that parade?
Putin's scared. Look, Putin's probably going to be assassinated.
Listen, I'm telling you, I'm shocked that it hasn't happened already.
Yeah. I think the United States needs to do a reality check. And I'm being honest, Trump is just a symptom. He's not. He didn't cause all this stuff. Other administrations did a hell of a lot worse. But we're in a decline. And to me, I told you, the only thing that's going to save us is a spiritual awakening. And you see a decay in society. And you look at the homeless. Same thing Bishop said yesterday. It's a permanent underclass, Rob. That's what you're looking at.
Who said? Oh, Bishop called in. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, he was saying you saw homeless all over the place. I'm telling you that. Look, you're seeing a permanent underclass. That's what you're seeing. Those folks that are homeless will never be able to get back in society. I hate to say that. That's just going to be permanent. And if you're lucky, you won't end up there, but everybody's a paycheck away. Our health care can't afford it. School can't afford it. Housing can't afford it. So when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said it, when he's run, I'll never forget it. We're the only Americans who can't afford to live in our own country. And the average American don't even have $500 or $1,000 in the bank if emergency happens.
I mean, do you hear? Wait. Did everybody just hear what Ted said? The average American doesn't have $500 in their checking or in their savings account. And what Robert F. Kennedy said is so true. And that's not the America that you and I grew up in. We had immigrants who came to this country who owned a home, owned a vehicle, educated, fed, and clothed their children, and they weren't even making anywhere near what minimum wage is today. So how is that? We have completely sold out this country to other countries who've capitalized on what we created, and they've left us basically just spinning out of control. You're so right, Ted. You're so very right.
Well, man, I hate to say that. I mean, the average American knows that. And, I never forget the one economist. Anytime there's a recession, you always check the fringe of society. That's when it hits the most, the poorest among us. And we don't even care about the poor no more in this country, let alone the middle class is gone. And it's just sad, but I will always say, do not blame the people. All right, it's just you do have governments who are out of control. It's going to take a revolution to really get it back. Hopefully it's a peaceful one. But
you know what's happening, though, Ted? We're leaning more towards a not peaceful revolution, and you know it.
Well, that's what scares me. Civil unrest.
Amen.
Okay? That's what happens in a society when it starts to break down. You start to see civil unrest. And I'm really concerned about that because even, listening to some of your callers, it sounds like almost everyone's in distress, which is not good. But we need to be aware of what's going on with the government. But I will say people know. They know. The government's not fooling anybody anymore. We just got to hopefully have a civil way of doing things. And one president is not going to me, it's not going to cure everything. Another administration just won't. It's going to take all of us to really get our country back.
Well, listen, this is what I've been thinking a lot lately, these intrusive thoughts. President Trump, 80 years old this summer, and no matter what his doctors say, you look at him, body mass index, the guy is slowing down, and he is not at his ideal weight, and he may be able to eat a lot of junk food and go. But when you're going to be 80, anything could happen. honestly, I want him to stay healthy to get through to 2028 because I do not want J.D. Vance running this country. I don't. I would rather have this guy ride it out and then leave it up to the voters. And I hope they're all taking a closer look at Marco Rubio as far as the Republican Party and Josh Shapiro. And if anybody thinks that Gavin Newsom is the guy, forget it. I mean, I know he's leaving, and I know we're all experiencing it. But how is it that the gas prices in California are $6.19 a gallon, and the highest here in Western Pennsylvania is like $4.50, $4.60? I mean, that's $1.50 more almost. That's insane.
Well, the key is, I always say this, regardless of your politics, it's who's going to bring the country together. That's flat out. That's the recipe for America. Who's going to bring us together? Neither Biden or Trump can do that. They both, to me, failed administrations for that. Regardless of your politics, they cannot bring the country together. That is, to me, it's a recipe. You know, we had the JFKs, we had the Obamas. You know, who's going to be that next person? We had the Reagans, you know, that could bring us together. That's the recipe. Or are we going to be divided? And, you know, like I said, divided house can't stand. If you get another president who wants to play that game, you can kiss this country goodbye.
All right, Teddy. Have a good day. Listen, Cynthia, Rob, on the other side of the break. Busy morning underway. We're here till 1. Stay with us. David Ballarado at the news desk. You'll have the latest coming up at 6 a.m. at your Pratt Pack.
Every Tuesday morning at 7:20, listen for Inside Independence Health, a look at all things healthcare with the experts from Independence Health System. It's brought to you by Independence Health System. Expert care here.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve you a Pittsburgh tradition. Pirates pounded out 20 hits and they defeated San Francisco 13-3. 2 teams again today. Out on the West Coast, 4:05, you can hear it 93.7 The Fan. Bobby Cox, legendary manager of the Atlanta Braves, dies at the age of 84. He won 2,504 games as a manager with both the Braves and the Blue Jays. We'll pay tribute to him today on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. On the ice, Carolina in overtime, 3-2 the final. They eliminate Philly in 4 straight games. Colorado and Minnesota last night. Minnesota a 5-1 winner. Avalanche lead the series 2-1. To the hardwood, Cleveland defeated Detroit 116-109. Pistons lead the series 2-1. OKC has the Lakers on the verge of elimination. They were winners 131-108. They lead the best-of-7 set, 3-0. Riverhounds lost to Louisville, and through 2 rounds of the Truist Championship, Quail Hollow, North Carolina, Alex Fitzpatrick is at 14 under, good for a 1-shot lead. More sports, 937thefan.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Pittsburgh's 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, 866-391-1020. If you want to get in here under the wire before we get to the top of the hour, feel free to call. Let's go to Cynthia in Florida. I'm sure she has a lot to say today. Cynthia, good morning.
Good morning. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers listening and celebrating. I was listening to Joanne talk about guns. We need to ban drones. I was just reading. There was a father and his daughter on a motorcycle. And the Israelis killed the father. Well, first they used the drone. They missed the first time. Killed the father. The 12-year-old little girl ran away. They hit her with the drone. Killed her. This is outrageous. They wiped out an entire family in Lebanon. But what Ted was talking about. I was reading a story. There was a man in a grocery store. He stole a roast. Other people in the grocery store wanted to pay for the roast, let the man have it. Store had him arrested anyway. We're going to see more and more of this. But what I called about, I want people to look up NERC, N-E-R-C. It's the North America Electrical Reliability Corporation. They said we are on a level 3 alert because of these data centers that will collapse our grid. We already have 5,400 of those things, and they keep building them. They're unregulated. I've mentioned before, people in Tennessee, Memphis, yes. Musk built these turbines. Methane is released. People are getting sick. All these people who are making massive amounts of money in the stock market, that's all they care about, is making money. And they're developing a surveillance society in this country. They don't care. They will end up rationing our power, our water, if the grid doesn't already collapse. So people need to take this seriously. And regarding the war, I told you before, we're not going to defeat Iran. There's a plane missing. It's an F-13 that just squawked a code over in Oman. And so Trump is saying, oh, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone. No, they're not. I don't know. And what Ted was saying, we don't have any decent candidates running for office that I see. You know, AOC is saying, oh, she's going to run. And then she's castigating Marjorie Taylor Greene, who sacrificed her entire career to speak out against Trump and the Epstein billionaire class. AOC never wanted to criticize Biden for anything. We have no good choices. I'm sick of the entrenched elite politicians. Sick of them. So I'm not optimistic about where this country's going. I said that to you before. But this thing about the grid alert, that's really concerning. And people keep wanting to build these things. And Trump's bunker under the White House, that's a large data center that he said his billionaire buddies would pay for. Now the taxpayer is supposed to pay for it. Hell no. So thanks for taking the call this morning.
All right. Hey, have a great day, Cynthia. Let's go to Rob in Plum. Rob, good morning and welcome to your Pratt Pack. How are you?
Good morning, Rob. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to all the young ladies out there. Happy Mother's Day on there. I want to tell them, Happy Mother's Day. The other thing, I just tend to disagree with you, Rob. You said the economy is not doing good. The economy is doing really well. 115,000 new jobs. The only problem we have in our country today is we don't have good materials anymore. The materials count for building projects and everything else like that, cars, everything like that. They count. We need good, reliable, go back to the old ways of doing things. This new way is not working. I'm so tired of fixing everybody's mistakes. It's unreal. I mean, construction materials, people buy the cheapest materials and they expect them to last. No, you can't do that. You got to buy good quality materials. You got to pay a top price, and nobody wants to pay that. I mean, out there today. But the economy is doing well, Rob. If you go outside of Pittsburgh, you go into these small towns, the restaurants are filled. People have money to spend. I don't see a problem with people spending the money. The only problem I have is the building materials aren't good anymore. That's what the problem is. That's why you have all these problems here in this country, because we don't have the good building materials. Like if you go to any of these box stores and you try to get lumber today, 2 out of 10 pieces of lumber would be okay. Stop and think about that. I'm picky about when I build things. I want good quality products. You're over there saying it's doing good. I said, no, it's not. I mean, seniors are still getting their Social Security checks. I mean, I'm working all the time. I mean, I'm finding work. I mean, it's not hard to do it because I have skills. The problem is, the bottom line, these kids have no skills. They don't seem to understand the work concept. And the other problem we have in this country is that they're not willing to get up and go to work every day They think that, going to work like 5 days a week is hard. I said, I go 7 days a week. That's a little harder. That's what you have to do in today's world today. I mean, I don't have to do it, but I want to do it. There's the difference.
Well, yeah, listen, Rob, I could disagree with everything you said, but I'm out of time. I know small towns that have nothing but boarded up windows. I was on the main street of a river community just last week. I counted 21 empty buildings on both sides of the street, and there is no life as far as on those streets after dark. School districts losing numbers as we speak. There are very few graduating 100 anymore. And corporate America wants to come in, but the politicians, many of them won't open the doors to manufacturing. Thus, we'll never have a middle class again. And look, if you're doing okay, that's okay. If I'm doing okay, that's okay. But the manufacturing middle class has disappeared from this country. And if we were doing so good, we wouldn't have a $39 trillion debt. And that's what's so confusing to me, because corporate America, the major blue chippers, are doing great, technology and energy, because the bulls and bears are representing that, because they believe in the president who's trying to create that working class generation to start building again and to get up and get working. That I do agree with you on, that we don't have the skill set. We don't have the working class. We don't have the generational wealth coming up. That's why you need to start teaching your children. If college doesn't really suit them, then they should be thinking about fastening up a tool belt, putting on a hard hat, getting a lunch pail, and becoming a carpenter, an electrician, a plumber, a steam fitter. Because here's the thing. Not only do you get a card carrying and become a union member with great benefits, health care, and a pension at the end of your time, but you get that skill set that you so appropriately brought up, and you can become the next Rob and go out and do incredible things like you do out in Plum every day because of your skill set, and you can basically do the side hustle to make up when work is slow for that profession that you are a part of. So you and I disagree, but that's okay. That's what makes the world go around. Appreciate the call. Thank you. All right, stay with us. We've got news coming up with David Ballarado, who's in today, and then Tech Vibe Radio with Audrey Russo and Jonathan Kirsting. And then you and I will return coming up at 7 o'clock after local news. Doug Oster, of course, DougOster.com. It's the Organic Gardener. Salute to Mom with Frank and I on the Coons Cooking Hour. Dr. Sean Ritchie is here today, Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, and then Accurate Solutions, and then 2 hours of the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show, all today on this Mother's Day with your Pratt Pack. KDKA, good morning.
While you sleep, there are people you've never met who are working hard to make your morning. People who get up at ungodly hours to make sure you get the information you want. People who dedicate their lives to make yours better while you sleep. These people come together during the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richert, 5:30 to 10 in the morning, to make sure you have the best news, traffic, and weather to start your day. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
I'm with Joe Potocznik, JP Roofing and Siding, with an exciting opportunity.
Normally, Larry, we offer $500 off any complete roofing and siding replacements. For our spring promotion, we're offering an additional $500 off.
Joe, that's $1,000.
That's right, Larry.
You better call today. The roofing experts, JP Roofing and Siding, 412-829-7711, 412-829-7711. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Larry.
With multiple Tri-State Neuropathy Centers treatment locations throughout the region, relief from peripheral neuropathy has never been more accessible and successful. Here's Sean Ritchie, founder and DC of Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, with one of his stories from helping over 15,000 patients regain their comfort, mobility, and quality of life.
James from Youngwood suffered for 10 years. He had all the symptoms of neuropathy, the numbness, the pain, the burning, the stabbing. He even had these jumpy legs at night. It was destroying his life, and he had to quit his job. After going through our non-invasive treatment program, we were able to get him pain-free, sleeping again. In fact, he told me he went hunting this year and was able to do it without any problem.
Tri-State Neuropathy Centers help James. Let them help you next. Call 724-940-9000 for an initial free consultation. That's 724-940-9000. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy. Learn more at marydanston.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case?
There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It's 55 degrees at 6 o'clock. I'm David Valorado. Passengers have started disembarking from the hantavirus-hit cruise ship anchored off Tenerife in Spain's Canary Islands. 3 people have died and several others have been infected. CBS News correspondent Remy Inocencio is there.
There are about 150 passengers and crew from about 24 countries. Spanish health official told us that everyone on board has done health screenings before arriving, and as of this morning, too, that everyone, to their knowledge, is still asymptomatic.
How's the crackdown on teens in Market Square going? KDKA-TV's Ricky Saylor checked it out last night.
Well, before the rain started falling, we still did have a good number of people here in Market Square, but we did not see a whole lot of kids, certainly no big groups of kids. But that's not to say we did not see kids who are unaccompanied here in Market Square. The official rules that if you are under 18, that you must be with an adult. From what we've observed, they've at least been allowed, for instance, to walk through the square, go to Chipotle or Moe's, things like that.
New details are emerging after a person was struck and killed by a plane on an active runway at Denver International Airport Friday night. CBS News Colorado reporter Sarah Horbakowitz has the latest.
We just hit somebody. We have an engine fire.
231 people were on board the Frontier Airbus, a 321, headed to Los Angeles Friday night.
We're really going rapidly when all of a sudden there was a big jolt and a loud noise, and then boom, this huge orange fireball out the right side of the plane.
The person hit sucked into one of the engines. Passengers rushed to exits, evacuating the aircraft on emergency slides. They were bused to the terminal. 12 were hurt.
A third man has now been sentenced in connection with a fraud scheme targeting a nonprofit health system. 59-year-old Mark Marriott of Sharpsville, a former facilities manager for Primary Health Network, is sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. Federal prosecutors say he conspired with 2 former CEOs who had created a shell middleman company called Topcoat that did no legitimate work. Investigators say the sham company was used to pocket over $500,000. Prosecutors say Marriott had a regular vendor send fake and inflated bills to PHN, with the extra money being split between Marriott and the 2 others. The co-conspirators have already been sentenced. Police say someone stole a cash box at West Mayfield Community Park on Friday. Matt Needballa, whose youth baseball organization uses the park, says between $400 and $500 was stolen and the door was broken.
That's what's really hurtful with us, is that they came in, and, we're a nonprofit organization, group of, small families down here, and they, basically they stole from kids, and it really stinks.
He spoke to KDKA-TV. President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission is about to issue its recommendations, and CBS's Michael Toscano reports that rejecting separation of church and state is high on the agenda.
The commission has largely conservative evangelical and Catholic membership, and their priorities reflect that perspective. Its chairman, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
The separation of church and state is the biggest lie that's been told in America since our founding.
The priorities are increased religious expression in public schools and other public settings, more public money for religious organizations, and religious-based exemptions from regulations and classroom lessons. Michael Toscano, CBS News, Washington.
KDKA Sports, the Pirates play the Giants after Nick Gonzalez had 4 hits on Saturday. Rob Pratt will have more sports coming up in just a moment. The AccuWeather forecast is next.
For women with postmenopausal osteoporosis at high risk for fracture, there's more you can do to strengthen your bones with Evenity. This is the sound of 4 women who think they're doing everything they can. A high fracture risk will cause 3 of them to break a bone in their lifetime. With Evenity, they could be rapidly building new bone in just 12 months. 2 think they already are building bone. And for 1, the game is about to change. To make an appointment, press 2. Because she's calling her doctor about Evenity. Evenity can increase the risk of heart attack, stroke, or death from a heart problem. Tell your doctor if you have had a heart attack or stroke. Do not take Evenity if you have low blood calcium or are allergic to it, as serious events have occurred with Evenity. Signs include rash, hives, swelling of the face or throat, which may cause difficulty in swallowing or breathing, muscle spasms or cramps, numbness or tingling. Tell your doctor about severe jawbone problems, as they have been reported with Evenity. Report hip, groin, or thigh pain. Unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred with Evenity. Learn more about building new bone at Evenity.com.
Spring is showing up and showing out. Give your yard its own moment with limited time deals from Lowe's. Grab select 1.5-gallon annuals hanging baskets, 2 for only $15. Plus, we've got Miracle-Gro 0.75 cubic foot garden soil, 5 bags for just $10. A little dirt, a little color, and we are so back. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid 5/7 through 5/13. Selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
This Mother's Day Sunday brings a mix of sun and clouds, with showers favoring the early part of the day and a high of 64. Then just some clouds for tonight and a low of 40. Lead to a cool day tomorrow with some sun at times. Bit of a breeze develops in the afternoon with a high of 60 before clouds build through the day on Tuesday, high 65. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020.